The Senate will come to order. Senator Herpen, would you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Thank you, Madam President. In honor of those patriots who stood up for freedom and helped found our great nation, please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So you got my script?
Yeah, I haven't had a chance to look. Mr. Majors, would you please take the roll?
Aguilar, Balmer, Baumgardner, Brophy, Cadman, Crowder, Grantham, Guzman, Harvey, Heath, Herpen, Hill, Hodge, John, Johnston, Jones, Kafalis, Kerr, King, Lambert, Lundberg, Marble, Newell, Nicholson, Renfro, Rivera, Roberts, Sheffel, Schwartz, Stedman, Toctrop, Todd, Ulibarri, Zenzinger. Madam President.
Here. With 35 present, 0 absent, 0 excused, the Senate has a quorum. Motion to adopt the journal. Senator Zenzinger. Senator Zenzinger.
Bill has Regent Lucero here.
Senator Zenzinger.
Thank you, Madam President. I move that we dispense with the reading of the journal of April 29th and move the journal as approved by the Secretary.
You've heard the motion. All in favor say aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Motion is adopted. Senate Services.
April 30th, 2014, correctly printed, Senate Bills 218, 219, Senate Concurrent Resolution 5, Senate Joint Resolution 39, correctly engrossed, Senate Bills 172, 190, 191, 192, and 195, 197, 203, 205, 209, correctly re-engrossed, Senate Bill 155, correctly revised, House Bills 1012, 1016, 1032, 1093, 1044, 1101, 1119, 1175, 1180, 1178, 1180, 1227, 1269, 1270, 1275, 1278, 1294, 1298, 1300, 1310, 1317, 1326, 1333, 1350, 1353, 1356, 1359, 1362, 1363, correctly revised House Bills 1095, 1159, 1194, 1322, and 1323.
Mr. Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam President. I move we proceed out of order for a moment of personal privilege for the Minority Leader.
For the motion, all in favor say aye. Opposed, no. Ayes have it. Mr. Minority Leader is granted a moment of personal privilege out of order.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam President. Members, I would like your attention for just a moment. In February, I had a friend text me that he wanted to come down and spend the day with us at the Capitol because he needed to report back to his school about what the legislature was like and talk a little bit about government. And I said, of course. He shared that request with me in a text. I want to share another text about that same friend, a friend that you all know. Actually, excuse me, many of you know, all of you probably know his father. And I know I shared some of this with you in March as many of us were praying for the Luceros and what they were going through as their youngest son, Tommy, was anticipating open heart surgery. And I know on that Wednesday, on March 12th, I stood here and asked for your prayers for him. and then you continue to inquire about the situation all day. I thought I'd share something. I'm going to embarrass them a little bit. They are here. I'll introduce them, but I think this is important to set this into context. So a group of us are praying for you right now, and we also announced you on the floor. God bless you. This is as they were getting ready for surgery. He said, thanks. Tom said, thanks, coming to get him in about an hour. I said, how are you and Julie doing? He said, everyone is anxious. I said, please pass on my hugs to Julie and your mom. We'll share the updates as you get them. Will you share updates as you get them? He said, we will. I said, thanks. Tough to focus today. Did they get going? This is a couple hours later. Pushed it back till 1, just got his Valium. Thanks. Are we on? He said, yes, they just went in. I said, he's in great hands. Remind me of the anticipated duration for the surgery, 5 to 6 hours. Wow. Just checking in. How is everyone doing? This is now 3 o'clock. Stressed and anxious. His chest is open and getting the lung and heart tubes inserted. About 30 minutes before they start on the heart. So they're keeping you well updated? Yes, every 45 minutes or so. Great. I don't want to add to your stress, so tell me to chill out if you need to. Never mind. How's it going? Going really well. Heart is fixed and beating again. Pretty amazing text, isn't it? A text you never want to have to do, but a text you are glad to do. And we are really glad to welcome Tommy and Tom Lucero, former regent of the Colorado University, here with us today. We're really glad you're here. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam President. I move we proceed out of order to consider Senate Joint Resolution 25 with Senator Hodge.
For the motion, all in favor say aye. Opposed, no. Ayes have it. We'll proceed out of order to take up Senate Joint Resolution 25. Mr. Majors, would you please read the title to Senate Joint Resolution 25?
Senate Joint Resolution 25 by Senator Hodge and Representative Priola concerning the designation of the pedestrian overpass across United States Highway 85 at Southern Street in Brighton as the Arita Hamilton Overpass.
Senator Hodge.
Thank you, Madam President. I move SJR 25 and I move L001.
Mr. Majors, would you please read L001?
Amendment L001
Senator Hodge.
SJR 25 by
Thank you. I have moved L001. What it does is allow the Colorado Department of Transportation to pursue a cooperative agreement with the city of Brighton over the maintenance of this overpass.
Any discussion? Question is the adoption of L001. Are there any no votes? With 35 ayes, 0 no, 0 absent, 0 excused, L001 is adopted. Senator Hodge.
Thank you. SJR 14025 allows the city of Brighton to name a pedestrian overpass that goes over Highway 85, the Arita Hamilton Overpass. I ask for an aye vote.
Any discussion? Question is the adoption of Senate Joint Resolution 25. Are there any no votes? With 35 ayes, 0 no, 0 absent, 0 excused, Senate Joint Resolution 25 is adopted. Senator Hodge.
Thank you, Madam President. I ask current roll call to be added as co-sponsors.
Any objection? Seeing none, the morning roll call will be added as co-sponsors to Senate Joint Resolution 25. Third reading of bills, consent calendar. Mr. Majors, would you please read the titles to the bills on third reading consent calendar?
Senate Bill 209 by Senators Heath and Sheffel and Representative Tyler concerning the requirements for permissible investments by insurers and loans secured by interest in real estate. House Bill 1353 by Representative Gardner, Senator Johnson concerning powers of appointment. House Bill 1044 by Representative Dorr, Senator Toptrop concerning consequences for parolee who tampers with an electronic monitoring device that the parolee is required to wear as a condition of parole. House Bill 1363 by Representative Gardner and Senator Roberts concerning the non-substantive revision of the statutes in the Colorado Revised Statutes as amended in connection therewith amending or repealing obsolete, imperfect, and inoperative law to preserve the legislative intent, effect, and meaning of the law. House Bill 1362 by Representative Moreno and Senator Ulibarri concerning great-grandparent visitation with great-grandchildren.
Mr. Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam President. Before I move the adoption of this, colleagues, can I just ask for just a moment? with all of the bills we're going to be considering, just a request. It is very, very difficult to get everybody recognized that wants to speak with a lot of the chaos that's going on. We all are trying to negotiate individual bills in the back of the room and so forth. So just at the request of the people that are cheering, not only the president, but the people that are cheering the cow, if you want to speak, please come down to the well. It is awfully hard to look around and with all the chaos and try to get a hand going up and somebody running down. So let me just request that if you want to speak on a particular bill or any subject for that matter, please come on down, get your hand up so that the person who's chairing will be able to keep obviously an eye out, allow you to be recognized, and not have some of the chaos that we had yesterday. So thank you for that request. And Madam President, with that, I move the adoption of all the bills in the third reading of bills consent calendar, which include Senate Bill 209, House Bill 1353, House Bill 1044, 1363, and 1362.
Is there any discussion on any of the bills on third reading consent? Senator Crowder.
Yes, Madam President, I'd like to be a no vote on 1353.
Are there any no votes on any of the bills in addition to Senator Crowder? With 35 ayes, 0 noes, 0 absent, and 0 excused, Senate Bill 209 is adopted. Co-sponsors. With 34 ayes, 1 no, 0 absent, and 0 excused, House Bill 1353 is adopted. Co-sponsors. With 35 ayes, 0 no, 0 absent, and 0 excused, House Bill 1044 is adopted. Co-sponsors. Senators Newell, King, Aguilar, Mr. Majority Leader, Senators Herpin, Todd, Zenzinger. Please add the president. Max, were you? Senator Rivera. With 35 ayes, 0 noes, 0 absent, and please add Senator Lambert as a co-sponsor on House Bill 1044. With 35 ayes, 0 noes, 0 absent, and 0 excused, House Bill 1363 is adopted. Co-sponsors. Senator Crowder. With 35 ayes, 0 noes, 0 absent, and 0 excused, House Bill 1362 is adopted. Co-sponsors. Senators Aguilar, Newell, Kafalas, Mr. Majority Leader, Senators Herpin, Toktrop, Kerr, Nicholson, Todd, King, Rivera. Third reading of bills calendar. Mr. Majors, would you please read the title to House Bill 1273?
House Bill 1273 by Representatives McCain and Wright and Senators Newell and Schwartz concerning human trafficking and in connection therewith making and reducing appropriations.
Senator Newell.
Thank you, Madam President. I move House Bill 1273 on third and final reading and ask for an aye vote. I'm not sure if Senator Schwartz has a voice today. But I did want to say that we have students who actually came back from the other day. They were allowed to come back from school because they all have A's and B's in their classes. So they were allowed to come back because they wanted to see this historic vote happen for the cause of anti-human trafficking. So I welcome students. I can't introduce them, I understand, but welcome.
Senator Schwartz.
And thank you, Madam President. I again ask for also an aye vote. And this really is, I think, a scourge we deal with in the 21st century with the internet. And we need to make sure that we keep our children and people in our society safe from really this very atrocious crime. So I ask for an aye vote and thank Senator Newell as helping sponsor this bill and the good work.
Senator Lambert.
Thank you, Madam President. When we heard this the first time here, there was some confusion about the fiscal note that I asked about, both in appropriates and on the floor. We resolved that all. It was my misunderstanding. Mr. Sweetman was able to explain that very well. I appreciate the bill as it's written now, strongly support and ask for an aye vote.
Thank you. The question before the body is the adoption of House Bill 1273. Are there any no votes? With 35 ayes, 0 noes, 0 absent, and 0 excused, House Bill 1273 is adopted. Senator Newell.
Thank you, Madam President. I ask for the current roll call to be added as co-sponsors.
Is there any objection? Seeing none, the current roll call will be added as co-sponsors to House Bill 1273. Mr. Majors, would you please read the title to House Bill 1269?
House Bill 1269 by Representatives Corton, Williams, and Senator Johnson concerning the circumstances under which a person who sells items subject to sales tax must collect such sales tax on behalf of the state.
Senator Johnston.
Thank you, Madam President. I move House Bill 1269 on third reading and final passage and ask for an aye vote.
Any discussion? Question is the adoption of House Bill 1269. Are there any no votes? Senators Schaffel, Crowder, Baumgartner, Lambert, Harvey, Brophy, Herpin, Lundberg, Marble, Grantham, Renfro, Rivera, King, Roberts, Hill, Balmer, Mr. Minority Leader. With 18 ayes, 17 noes, 0 absent, and 0 excused, House Bill 1269 is adopted. Co-sponsors, Mr. Majority Leader, Senator Todd, Senator Nicholson, Senator Kafalis, Senator Schwartz. Mr. Majors, would you please read the title to House Bill 1275?
House Bill 1275 by Representatives Duran and Quorum and Senators John and Roberts concerning authorization for the Parks and Wildlife Commission to purchase real property to build a multi-use shooting facility.
Senator John.
Thank you. Madam President, I move House Bill 1275 on third reading and final passage. Ask for an aye vote.
Any discussion? Question before the body is the adoption of House Bill 1275. Any no votes? Senator Baumgartner, Senator Lundberg, Senator Marble, Senator Renfro, Senator Hill. With 30 ayes, 5, Senator Lambert. With 29 ayes, 6 noes, 0 absent, and 0 excused, House Bill 1275 is adopted. Co-sponsors, Senators King, Crowder, Herpin, Rivera, Schwartz, Toktrop, Nicholson. Mr. Majors, would you please read the title to House Bill 1359?
House Bill 1359 by Representative Janelle and Senator Aguilar concerning medication synchronization for patients who are prescribed multiple medications.
Senator Aguilar.
Thank you, Madam President. I move for the adoption of House Bill 1359 on third reading and final passage.
Any discussion? Question is its adoption. Are there any no votes? Senators Baumgartner, Lambert, Marble, Lundberg, Harvey, Shuffle, Brophy, Balmer, Hill, Renfro, Grantham. Mr. Minority Leader. With 23 ayes, 12 noes, 0 absent, and 0 excused, House Bill 1359 is adopted. Co-sponsors, Senators Nicholson, Crowder, Schwartz, Jones, Toktrop, Mr. Majority Leader, Senators Newell, Madam President Pro Tem, Senator Todd. Mr. Majors, would you please read the title to Senate Bill 191?
Senate Bill 191 by Senator Toktrop and Representative Pabon concerning the procedures for resolution of workers' compensation claims.
Senator Toktrop.
Thank you, Madam President. I move Senate Bill 191 on third reading and ask for an aye vote.
Any discussion? Question is its adoption. Are there any no votes? Senators Renfro, Rivera, Shuffle, Crowder, Mr. Minority Leader. Senators Baumgartner, Harvey, Lambert, Brophy, Herpin, Lundberg, Marble, Grantham, King, Roberts, Balmer, Hill. With 18 ayes, 17 noes, 0 absent, and 0 excused, Senate Bill 191 is adopted. Co-sponsors. Mr. Majority Leader, Senator Schwartz, Senator Nicholson, Senator Jones. Mr. Majors, would you please read the title to House Bill 1180?
House Bill 1180 by Representative Becker and Senator Togtrop concerning the sunset review of the regulation of outfitters for the taking of wildlife by the Director of the Division of Professions and Occupations in connection therewith implementing the recommendations contained in the sunset report prepared by the Department of Regulatory Agencies.
Senator Togtrop.
Thank you, Madam President. I move House Bill 1180 on third reading and ask for an aye vote.
Any discussion? Question is the adoption of House Bill 1180 on third reading. Are there any no votes? Senators Marble, Rivera, Crowder, Baumgartner, Harvey, Brophy, Lambert, Shuffle, Grantham, Lundberg, Balmer, King, Renfro, Mr. Minority Leader, Senator Hill. With 20 ayes, 15 noes, 0 absent, and 0 excused, House Bill 1180 is adopted. Co-sponsors, Mr. Majority Leader, Madam President Pro Tem, Senator Schwartz. Mr. Majors, would you please read the title to House Bill 1178?
House Bill 1178 by Representatives Ferrandino and Del Grosso and Senators Hodge and Grantham concerning a sales and use tax exemption for qualified property used as spaceflight and in connection therewith making and reducing appropriations.
Senator Hodge.
Thank you, Madam President. We move House Bill 1178 on third reading and final passage, and we ask for an aye vote.
Any discussion? Question is the adoption of House Bill 1178. Are there any no votes? Senator Marble, Senators Baumgartner, Lundberg, Balmer. With 31 ayes, 4 noes, 0 absent, 0 excused, House Bill 1178 is adopted. Co-sponsors, Mr. Majority Leader, Senators Shuffle, Crowder, Herpin, King, Rivera, John, Kerr, Togtrop, Newell, Todd, Mr. Majors, would you please read the title to House Bill 1278?
House Bill 1278 by Representative Rosenthal, Senator Togtrop concerning continuation of the Workers' Compensation Accreditation Program administered by the Division of Workers' Compensation in connection therewith implementing the recommendations of the 2013 Sunset Report by the Department of Regulatory Agencies.
Senator Togtrop.
Thank you, Madam President. I move House Bill 1278 and ask for an aye vote.
Any discussion? Question is the adoption. Any no votes? Senators Baumgartner, Renfro, Grantham, Marble, Lundberg, Shuffle, Harvey, Lambert, Brophy, Balmer, Hill. Mr. Minority Leader. Senator King. With 22 ayes, 13 noes, 0 absent, and 0 excused, House Bill 1278 is adopted. Co-sponsors, Mr. Majority Leader, Madam President Pro Tem, Senator Nicholson. Mr. Majors, would you please read the title to House Bill 1270?
House Bill 1270 by Representative Lebsack and Senator Togtrop concerning the sunset review of the licensing of pet animal facilities in connection therewith continuing the licensing functions of the Commissioner of Agriculture and making substantive changes to the regulatory statutes.
Senator Togtrop.
Thank you, Madam President. I move House Bill 1270 on third reading and ask for an aye vote.
Any discussion? Question is the adoption of House Bill 1270. Are there any no votes? Mr. Minority Leader, Senators Shuffle, Crowder, Baumgartner, Harvey, Lambert, Brophy, Herpin, Lundberg, Marble, Grantham, Renfro, Rivera, King, Hill. With 20 ayes, 15 noes, 0 absent, and 0 excused, House Bill 1270 is adopted. Co-sponsors. Madam President Pro Tem, Senator Newell. Mr. Majors, would you please read the title to House Bill 1333?
House Bill 1333 by Representatives Fisher and Quorum and Senators Schwartz and Harvey concerning the funding of Colorado Water Conservation Board projects and in connection therewith making an appropriation.
Senator Schwartz.
And thank you, Madam President. I move House Bill 1333 on third reading and final passage. Ask for an aye vote.
There is an amendment on the desk. Senator Kerr.
Thank you, Madam President. I'd like to ask permission for a third reading amendment.
Okay, Senator Kerr, please proceed with your explanation for your request.
Thank you, Madam President. And I fully understand that this amendment should have been brought forward yesterday when we were debating on seconds. I was a little preoccupied with something else on this when this particular bill was being debated. I was not able to get the amendment ready, so I'm asking for your permission to run the third reading amendment today.
Question is whether to grant Senator Kerr permission. Senator Harvey.
I'm sorry, Madam Chair, but normally, Madam President, when somebody's asking for permission, they explain why it is a technical amendment and why they should be given permission on third reading to offer a technical amendment. And if it is not a technical amendment, then seldom does this body ever give agreement to offer a substantive amendment. I think it's appropriate for the sponsor of this proposed amendment to tell us what this technical amendment is.
Senator Kerr.
Thank you, Madam President. And this is not a technically, it's not a technical amendment. This is the second body for this bill. This is a fairly substantive amendment. Basically, this would strike Section 14 of the bill, which authorizes the financing mechanisms for the Chatfield project. I have been hearing from my constituents who are very concerned with with that project moving forward, and with that, I would ask that I be allowed to offer this amendment, and then we can move forward with discussing the views of my constituents on this project. Thank you.
The question is whether to grant Senator Kerr permission for a third reading amendment. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, no? No. Ayes have it. Permission is granted. Senator Kerr.
Thank you, Madam President. I move L003.
L003 is properly moved. Please proceed to... Mr. Majors, please read L003.
Amendment L003 to House Bill 1333 by Senator Kerr, amending gross bill, page 9, strike lines 9 through 27. Page.
Thank you, Madam President.
If you could just remove it for me, please.
Thank you, Madam President. I move L003.
Okay, please proceed with your explanation, Senator Kerr.
Thank you, Madam President. L003 removes Section 14 from the bill. That is the section of the bill that authorizes the financing of the Chatfield project. I understand that the majority of the money in this is for mitigation, and that gives me pause as to whether or not we should remove it. But I also know, as I've heard from my constituents who live in the area and use Chatfield Reservoir as a recreational area, that they are very concerned about the recreational opportunities that will very probably be destroyed with this project moving forward. So that is why I'm bringing this forward. I think that we need to think a little bit harder. I want to make sure that you understand with the Chatfield project, as it expands the holding capacity of Chatfield Reservoir. What it's going to do in good years, there will be more water. In bad years, drought years, there will be less water. So Chatfield Reservoir, as it is right now, it has some fluctuation, but it was designed, the recreational opportunities were designed to deal with that. The estimate and the best case scenarios being offered here on the Chatfield project is that it's likely to have an 11-foot variation from year to year, from good years to bad years. And that really has an impact on, that's 11 vertical feet, which certainly when you look at it from a horizontal measure, it impacts a lot more land. So my constituents have contacted me and let me know that they're very concerned about this 11-foot fluctuation every year. With that, I ask for an aye vote on L003.
Senator Schwartz.
And thank you, Madam President. I appreciate individuals' concern that this has been a 12-year process that's resulted in a very comprehensive assessment and requirements from U.S. Fish and Wildlife, and Army Corps of Engineers, excuse me, and Colorado Parks and Wildlife Commission. And as I said, the majority of the $87 million, so this is there are about $133 million worth of projects in this bill. This would remove $87 million of that associated with the Chatfield reallocation project. So with that, there are concerns. I think that it's not as definitive as the former senator mentioned. There will be this 11-foot fluctuation in the levels, but more importantly, we hear over and over again the need for storage, front range storage. This is going to be a high snowpack year. If we had this reservoir online, it would be filling. This is what makes a difference long term. It takes so long to get any storage approved. We recognize the Parks and Wildlife value, and those are the values that are going to be attempted to mitigate during this entire process. It is a game changer, really, for the Front Range of Colorado when it comes to our ability to store water. And I so appreciate the individuals' concerns. This has been open, transparent process and will continue to be so. And with that, I would ask for a no vote on the amendment.
Senator Newell.
Thank you, Madam President. I actually rise in support of this amendment. My constituents as well, I've been hearing about for, gosh, a year and a half about this, and they are so concerned because the risks of the wildlife there, the species of the plant species are at risk, and the Audubon Society folks are still concerned about it. So I rise in support of this amendment and ask for an aye vote.
Senator King.
Thank you, President Carroll. So you'd wonder why the Western Slope would even be concerned about this. 20 years is what it takes to do a water storage project. We have not done one. In fact, I can't remember the last time we have done a water storage project. This is going to be a good year for runoff and water. Hopefully not so good a year that we have flooding, but the bottom line is that you need to have places to put your water. Eastern Slope. "20 years to do a water storage project, and now you're trying to not increase your water storage." I think you need to think very hard about that. Granted, We only have 20% of the population on the western slope, but we have 80% of the water. You have 80% of the population and 20% of the water. You need to increase your storage. I'd be thinking about this from an eastern slope attitude. I ask for a no vote on this amendment and an aye vote on the bill.
Senator Hodge.
Thank you, Madam President. I also ask for a no vote. This project has been in the works for at least 12 years that I've been down here. City of Brighton was part of it at one point. They've sold their rights, but it's a very important part of our overall water plan and to have enough water for our increasing population. Please vote no on the amendment, yes on the bill.
I had Senator Talktrap down next.
Thank you, Madam President. I heard this bill in the Ag Committee, and I'm going to ask for a no vote on the amendment and a yes vote on the bill. This is a very important water bill that comes forward every year, and I and my family and many of my friends, we use Chatfield a lot, riding our horses in there, and I have not heard from one group of people that go in there and use Chatfield, which is a great place because it's probably one of the most used parks, state parks, because it's so close to the urban area. I have not heard one person that has asked me to come forward and vote against the Chatfield project. It's extremely important. We are not going to keep people out of the Front Range. It is growing, but we have to provide water. And in order to provide water, we have to have storage. And this plan has been in the making for about 20 years. And again, I ask for a no vote on the amendment and a yes vote on the bill.
Senator Jones.
Thank you, Madam President. I would ask for people to vote yes for the amendment. 11 vertical feet going up and down for a boater means hundreds of feet as far as you're putting in. Also the environmental impacts. But the bigger issue here, folks, does anybody in here not know how they're going to vote on this? We have a lot of work to do, so let's get to the vote. That's my suggestion.
Senator Roberts.
Excuse me, just for clarification, I heard somebody say, why'd you offer the amendment? I did not offer the amendment, and, you know, I'd like to see my wife tonight.
Senator Roberts.
Well, I appreciate the urging of flying through this, but when you start a water war, what do you expect? So I just have to say, I mean, it's kind of different to see it happening on the Front Range, but absolutely, as someone from the Western Slope, I support the Chatfield Reservoir getting completed. We're not going to give you any more water to make up for this difference, so I would suggest that you vote no on this amendment. And quite seriously, you need water to drink. I understand that Chatfield has great recreational opportunities, but this money is going for mitigation efforts precisely to protect the kind of values that you talk about wanting to maintain for Chatfield, but you need that water for drinking. If you take a look at the projection of growth on the Front Range, I don't think you cannot drink the scenery. I would just strongly recommend that you reject this amendment.
Senator Harvey, I had you next. Senator Brophy.
Thank you, Madam President, and I want to ask for a no vote. And actually, I would just ask the sponsor of the amendment to respectfully withdraw it. If you were busy yesterday during this discussion, maybe you missed some of the key points that were made, and that is this: that since 1970.
And members, if we could get your attention, we're on third reading on an amendment. Senator Brophy, please continue.
Thank you, Madam President. Since 1970. The state of Colorado has cumulatively increased water storage by a mere 15%, while more than doubling the population of the state of Colorado from 2.2 million people to a little over 5 million people. Now, you have heard from a few extremists that are your constituents who made up opposition to this project. We heard the testimony. in committee, that there might be a loss of revenue to the state park system if Chatfield doesn't have as much use as it used to have. Well, that's not true. Part of this mitigation money guarantees that state parks will be made whole if during the expansion phase of Chatfield Reservoir there is any loss in revenue over previous usage. But what you can be assured of is loss of access to water the next time we have a drought. Look at what is happening in California right now. Do you think your constituents are going to want their lawns dried up because we purposefully failed to build storage when we had the money and a place to expand it? Is that what you think your constituents are going to want? Do you think softball fields being dried up, baseball fields being dried up, lawns being dried up, people rationing water for washing their cars is the way your constituents are going to want to live the next time we have a drought in the state of Colorado? I do not think so. I do not think so. This project is important. We need to triple our efforts to build water storage on the Front Range of Colorado. I would ask you respectfully to withdraw this amendment because I do not believe that you have thought about the ramifications of a failure to continue to build water storage in the state of Colorado. Long term, the very economic engine, the health of this state will be damaged if we don't have enough water for the people that will be coming here and the people that already live here. I ask for a no vote.
Senator Lundberg.
Thank you, Madam President. This is an issue that does deserve debate or simply withdraw the amendment. I, too, ask for a no vote and just give you the perspective of a Colorado citizen who's been here all my life. And I remember when Chatfield was first built and when Chatfield started to fill, and then my great disappointment at where they stopped because, you know, that's how they engineered it. But I remember my reaction of, is that all there is? Well, I'm glad to say that there's more to come if we defeat this amendment.
Any other discussion on L003? Senator Harvey.
Thank you, Madam President. And obviously, I am rising in opposition to this very technical amendment. I think it's interesting that the senator from Boulder can come up and make comments as long as he wants and then says nobody else make comments because we have to move on. This is probably the most important project to my constituency. So to have someone suggest that we should not debate this is a little frustrating. We had an extensive amount of testimony in committee. We've had extensive amount of testimony before the Parks and Wildlife Division. We've had extensive testimony for 25 years before the Army Corps of Engineers on how we should come forward and do this in a responsible manner. We have had it go through the House and all of the committees in the House, and we've had it go through the Senate to third reading, and then we have probably one of the most radical amendments ever offered on this bill brought forward on third reading. And we are to say that we should just sit down and not discuss this? Members, this is probably the most important water project we've had on the Front Range in my lifetime. And we are to say that we should not be able to expand and discuss this when we have an amendment coming forward to stop this project? This is going to be a project that's going to help all of the communities along the Front Range, from Highlands Ranch all the way out to the Central Water Conservation Authority, or District. We had environmentalists come in from all across the state arguing in favor of this. We had Trout Unlimited come in and argue in favor of this. We had Jeff Shoemaker with the Greenway Foundation come in and argue in favor of this. The only radical environmentalist that came in and argued against this is the Audubon Society. So now we are having an amendment being brought forward, which is probably one of the most radical amendments you could possibly have when it comes to Colorado water projects being brought forward on third reading in the second house, and we're being told that we should vote for this and sit down and not discuss it. Members, this is incredible. If you want to stand up for the future of Colorado and the future of Front Range water development, then I would ask you to vote no. If you want to side with those that are wanting to shut down any water development in Colorado, then I would vote for this amendment that's been offered. I would ask for no vote.
Senator Schwartz.
And thank you, Madam President. And I hope that folks realize that last year we passed the projects bill, and so most of us voted for it, but it also had a $50 million allocation in that bill to secure the orphan shares in the reservoir. So this is, again, an opportunity for our Front Range water providers to secure the water they need, not deplete their aquifers, and actually have water, and you've read the articles, Dillon Reservoir is going to fill for the first time in several years. This is why we need storage. It is for the high runoff years, and to make sure that we have water available for the population that lives on the Front Range of Colorado.
The adoption of L003, are there any no votes? Senators Harvey, Grantham, Schwartz, Hodge, Mr. Majority Leader, Senators Crowder, Renfro, Lundberg, Baumgartner, Lambert, Brophy, Shuffle, Mr. Minority Leader, Senators Rivera, King, Balmer, Roberts, Marble, Herpin, Hill, Nicholson, Aguilar, Madam President Pro Tem, Senators Toktrop, John, Johnston, Senzinger, Stedman, Todd, Kafalis. Please add the President. With 4 ayes, 31 noes, 0 absent, and 0 excused, L003 fails. The question is the adoption of 1333. Are there any no votes? With 35 ayes, 0 noes, 0 absent, and 0 excused, House Bill 1333 is adopted. Co-sponsors: Senators Crowder, Hodge, Kafalis, Mr. Majority Leader, Madam President Pro Tem, Senators Baumgartner, Herpin, Grantham, Marble, Lundberg, Renfro, King, Roberts, Lambert, Shuffle, Rivera, John. Mr. Minority Leader, please add the President. Mr. Majors, would you please read the title to Senate Bill 192?
Senate Bill 192 by Senator Hodge, Representative Becker, concerning the regulation of facilities license with regard to classified radioactive materials and in connection therewith making an appropriation.
Senator Hodge.
Thank you, Madam President. I move Senate Bill 192 on third reading and final passage and ask for an aye vote.
Any discussion? Senator Grantham.
Thank you, Madam President. Colleagues, I'd like to just address a few things on this bill. Thank, first of all, the sponsor for sponsoring it. If you know a little bit of the history of this bill, I was originally on it and had some misgivings on it, and
appreciate the sponsor's willingness to take that on at such a late hour. She's done a great job of presenting it and leading the charge on it. A little bit of explanation on where I've been on it, and where we're at now. I want to make sure it's abundantly clear that we have two distinct issues at stake here with this bill that it is trying to address. We first have this cleanup issue, this cleanup of an existing problem that's been a problem for decades and remains a problem. And on the other hand, we have ostensibly the prevention of further contamination in another situation with the use of this process with borehole mining and the ablation process. On the first hand, I want you to understand, at least down in Fremont County and Canyon City, this is not a completely clear-cut issue. One thing that is clear is that there is little sympathy, regardless of who it is, for the Cotter Corporation. This is a decades-long problem. It's been a Superfund site since 1984. Some progress may have been made here and there, but overall we still have contaminated wells. The problem arises where we have this legislature and prior legislatures have set in process methods and the ability for cleanup of these wells and cleanup of these sites, the process between CDPHE and Cotter, the ability for them to work together to try to clean that up, and where the issue comes in is whether that's moving fast enough, where the processes are actually achieving what they want to happen. We create those guide rails for this process to happen. We create these rules for them to live by here in this building. And arguably, we may be changing those in midstream. Question is, do those well owners deserve clean wells? Absolutely. Does an industry deserve a predictable set of standards? I think the answer is also yes, and therein lies the conflict, colleagues. The second part of this bill is we want to prevent the contamination at these future sites, these borehole sites, where the intent is to use this ablation process. Now remember, this is a separate issue, a separate site from what we're talking about with Cotter. It is about a process, one that is yet to be used with uranium. The questions arise: is it mining? Is it processing? Is it milling? Is it none of the above? Is it one of each? Is it two of each? Is it all three of these things? We see where it concentrates the material in this process. Does that make it in and of itself processing or milling? It is most definitely at least mining. But here's the heart of the matter. Well, how do we define this process that hasn't been used yet? How do we define an unproven process? Is the material that goes back underground during this process, is it irradiated to a level that is acceptable, or isn't it? Is it irradiated at all? What about tailings? Are they going to be on the surface? Are there going to be ponds? What is all of this, and what is the process going to be? There's a lot of questions that remain. And maybe they're answerable right now. We just don't know enough about it to make those rational determinations. What about water? Where will the water come from to accomplish this process? If this is a water-intensive process, how much?
Will it be trucked in? Will it be piped in? Will it come from an underground source? Will it come from a surface source? If you know the area up there in Tallahassee and Fremont County, there's not a whole lot of obvious water sources right there that could actually accomplish most mining operations. So where will that water come from? Too many questions. Like the folks in Lincoln Park there in Canyon City, the folks in the Tallahassee area, Fremont County want clean water. One group wants to get their water cleaned up, the other wants to keep it that way. And just like with that first issue with Cotter, do the residents in Tallahassee and around the state that are going to be dealing with this issue, do those residents deserve to keep their wells clean? The answer is obviously yes, right? Also, do the mineral rights owners deserve the right to a fair process that properly defines this new tech so that they can maximize the use of their property? I think, again, the answer is yes. So again, here we have that conflict. So where does this leave us? When faced with this conflict between what people have a right to versus what an industry deserves, when faced with the right to keep good, clean water wells, to get their good, clean water wells back, versus the right to extract minerals and using one's property. Well, frankly, this is simply not an easy choice. It's one right versus another right. But colleagues, given all the players involved, maybe the choice is a little simpler than this. Do the people deserve to have their clean wells back? Yes. Do they deserve to keep them that way? Yes. So the question is, will I be voting for this bill to do that? And the answer is yes.
Further discussion? Senator Schwartz.
Thank you, Madam President. I so appreciate the senator from Fremont County and representing the adjacent district. These are very tough questions. This is a new process, and having heard during my term, the concerns over impact to water quality, the in situ process, as well as tailings, this is a big issue. And I voted against the amendments yesterday. I don't think we know enough, and I think it was unfortunate that we don't have the ability. No one has a property right or develops a property right at the expense of anyone else's water or air quality, period. And that is, I think, an important issue that wasn't fully discussed yesterday. I voted against the amendments. I will support the bill today. We must step up and recognize what issues needs to be addressed in the Fremont County area.
Question is the adoption of Senate Bill 192. Are there any no votes? Senator Balmer. Senator Lambert. Senator Lundberg. Senator Hill. With 31 ayes, 4 noes, 0 absent, and 0 excused, Senate Bill 192 is adopted. Co-sponsors, Senator Crowder, Senators Aguilar, Madam President Pro Tem, Mr. Majority Leader, Senators Nicholson, Kafalis, Jones, Studman. Please have the President. Senator Grantham, Senator Todd, Senator Ulibarri. Mr. Majors, would you please read the title to House Bill 1119?
House Bill 1119 by Representative McLaughlin and Senators Hodge and Roberts concerning an income tax credit for the donation of food to a hunger relief charitable organization.
Senator Hodge.
Thank you, Madam President. We move House Bill 1119 on third reading and final passage and ask for an aye vote.
Any discussion? Question is the adoption of House Bill 1119. Any no votes? Senators Baumgartner, Lambert, Harvey, Lundberg, Marble, Renfro, Shuffle, Balmer. Mr. Minority Leader? Senator Harvey is a yes. Any other no votes on House Bill 1119? With 27 ayes, 8 noes, 0 absent, 0 excused, House Bill 1119 is adopted. Co-sponsors. Mr. Majority Leader, Madam President Pro Tem, Senators Herpin, King, Crowder, Aguilar, Nicholson, Kafalis, Stedman, Newell, Zenzinger, Kerr, Ulibarri, Johnston, Jones, Schwartz, Todd, Rivera. Mr. Majors, would you please read the title to House Bill 1227?
House Bill 1227 by Representative Janal and Senator Nicholson concerning the sunset review of the State Board of Dental Examiners in connection therewith continuing the board implementing the recommendations contained in the sunset report prepared by the Department of Regulatory Agencies and making an appropriation.
Senator Nicholson.
Thank you, Madam President. I move for the adoption of House Bill 1227 on third reading and final passage and ask for an aye vote.
Any discussion? Question is the adoption of House Bill 1227. Are there any no votes? Senators Lundberg, Baumgartner, Lambert, Marble, Hill, Renfro. With 30 ayes, 5 noes, 0 absent, and 0 excused, House Bill 1227 is adopted. (29 ayes, 6 noes, 0 absent, and 0 excused). Okay. Co-sponsors. Madam President Pro Tem, Senators Aguilar, Herpin, Kafalis, Newell, Todd, Mr. Majors, would you please read the title to House Bill 1101?
House Bill 1101 by Representative Tyler and Senator Schwartz concerning partial business personal property tax exemption for community solar gardens.
Senator Schwartz.
And thank you, Madam President. I move House Bill 1101. Yesterday I had to bring my friend Twilliquist up here to move the bill, but again, I had an opportunity to say that this is creates more purity when exempting residential and nonprofit use from business personal property tax of solar garden ownership.
Any discussion? Question is the adoption of House Bill 1101. Are there any no votes? Senators Renfro, Shuffle, Rivera, Grantham, Marble, Baumgartner, Harvey, Lambert, Brophy, Crowder, Lundberg, Balmer, King, Mr. Minority Leader, Senator Hill. With 20 ayes, 15 noes, 0 absent, and 0 excused, House Bill 1101 is adopted. Co-sponsors. Madam President Pro Tem, Senators Kafalis, Aguilar, Herpin, Mr. Majority Leader, Senators Kerr, Jones, Newell, Nicholson, Todd, Jones, Johnston, Ulibarri. Mr. Majors, would you please read the title to House Bill 1032?
House Bill 1032 by Representative Kagan and Senator Guzman concerning the provision of defense counsel to juvenile offenders in connection therewith making and reducing appropriations.
Senator Guzman.
Thank you, Madam President. I move House Bill 1032 on third reading and final passage and ask for an aye vote.
Any discussion? Question is the adoption of House Bill 1032. Any no votes? Senators Baumgartner, Harvey, Crowder, Brophy, Grantham, Renfro. Marble. With 28 ayes, 7 noes, 0 absent, 0 excused, House Bill 1032 is adopted. Co-sponsors: Senator Stedman, Senators King, Ulibarri, Mr. Majority Leader, Senators Toktrap, Aguilar, Nicholson, Todd, Kafalis, Newell, Johnston. Senator Todd, I've got you. Please add the President. Senator Schwartz. Mr. Majors, would you please read the title to House Bill 1016?
House Bill 1016 by Representatives Wright and Gardner, Senators Todd and Grantham, concerning the delivery of procurement technical assistance services.
Senator Todd.
Thank you, Madam President. Good morning. And I move House Bill 1016 on third and final passage and ask for an aye vote.
Any discussion? Question is the adoption. House Bill 1016. Are there any no votes?
Oui.
Senator Balmer, Senator Baumgartner, Senators Lambert, Marble, Harvey, Lundberg. With 29 and Senator Shuffle is a no. Senator Renfro. With 27 ayes, 8 noes, 0 absent, 0 excused, House Bill 1016 is adopted. Co-sponsors: Senator Newell. Please add the President. Mr. Majors, would you please read the title to House Bill 1012?
House Bill 1012 by Representatives Tyler and Giroux and Senator Gonzalez, concerning income tax credits that promote investment in Colorado advanced industries in connection therewith making an appropriation.
Senator Kafalis.
Thank you, Madam President. Good morning, colleagues. I move House Bill 1012 on third reading and final passage and ask for your support.
Any discussion? Question is the adoption of House Bill 1012. Are there any no votes? Senators Balmer, Crowder, Lundberg, Baumgartner, Harvey, Lambert, Herpin, Marble, Renfro. Mr. Minority Leader. Senators Shuffle, Grantham, Rivera. Senator Hill. With 21 ayes, 14 noes, 0 absent, and 0 excused, House Bill 1012 is adopted. Co-sponsors: Mr. Majority Leader, Senators Todd, Johnston, Newell, Kerr. Mr. Majors, would you please read the title to House Bill 1294?
House Bill 1294 by Representative Murray and Senators Stedman and John, concerning student data collection privacy protections administered by the Department of Education.
Senator Stedman.
Thank you, Madam President. We move House Bill 1294 on third reading and final passage.
Any discussion? Question is the adoption of House Bill 1294. Are there any no votes? With 35 ayes, 0 noes, 0 absent, and 0 excused, House Bill 1294 is adopted. Co-sponsors. Co-sponsors for House Bill 1294. Senators Lambert, Herpin, Newell, Schwartz, Madam President Pro Tem, Senator Crowder, Senator Marble, Senators King, Rivera, Lundberg, Hill, Kerr, Zenzinger, Todd, Nicholson. Co-sponsors, Mr. Majority Leader, Senator Kafalis. Please add the President. Mr. Majors, would you please read the title to House Bill 1317?
House Bill 1317 by Representative Duran and Senators Nicholson and Gonzalez, concerning modifications to the Colorado Child Care Assistance Program in connection therewith, aligning eligibility and authorization, addressing affordability by reducing co-payments, improving provider reimbursement rates, increasing access to quality care, improving technology infrastructure and administration, and making an appropriation.
Senator Nicholson.
Thank you, Madam President. We move for the adoption of House Bill 1317 on third reading and final passage and ask for an aye vote.
Any discussion? Question is the adoption of House Bill 1317. Any no votes? Senators Baumgartner, Harvey, Lambert, Brophy, Shuffle, Lundberg. Mr. Minority Leader. Senators Marble, Grantham, Renfro, Rivera, King, Roberts, Hill, Balmer. With 20 ayes, 15 noes, 0 absent, and 0 excused, House Bill 1317 is adopted. Co-sponsors, Mr. Majority Leader, Senators Crowder, Aguilar, Jones. Madam President Pro Tem, Senators Newell, Zenzinger, Ulibarri, Todd, Kerr, Johnston. It's harder to find you guys when you're not in your seat. Senator Todd, Senators Toktrop, Stedman. Please have the President. Mr. Majors, would you please read the title to House Bill 1356?
House Bill 1356 by Representative Foote, Senator Jones, concerning an increase of the Colorado Oil and Gas Commission's penalty authority in connection therewith making an appropriation.
Senator Jones.
Thank you, Madam President. I move House Bill 1356 on third reading and final passage and ask for a favorable recommendation.
Any discussion? Questions the adoption of House Bill 1356? Are there any no votes? Senator Renfro, Senators Grantham, Marble, Shuffle, Baumgartner, Harvey, Lambert, Brophy. Mr. Minority Leader, Senator Lundberg, Senators Balmer, Hill, Roberts, King, Rivera. With 20 ayes, 15 noes, 0 absent, and 0 excused, House Bill 1356 is adopted. Co-sponsors, Senators Kafalis, Aguilar, Nicholson, Madam President Pro Tem, Senator Schwartz. Please add the President.
Well, I can't do it. Put me up.
Mr. Majority as a co-sponsor on House Bill 1356. Mr. Majors, would you please read the title to Senate Bill 205?
We got to adjourn it.
Senate Bill 205 by Senator Newell and Representative Young concerning the Talent Pipeline Working Group of the State Workforce Development Council and the Department of Labor and Employment.
Mr. Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam President. I move we lay over Senate Bill 205 until tomorrow, May 1st.
For the motion, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Ayes have it. Senate Bill 205 will lay over till tomorrow. Mr. Majors, would you please read the title to Senate Bill 197?
Senate Bill 197 by Senators Jones and Herpin and Representatives Foote and Kraftler concerning high-performance transportation enterprise transparency.
Senator Jones.
Thank you, Madam President. I move Senate Bill 197, and I ask permission to offer a third reading technical amendment on a technical issue to correct a technical error, technically speaking. And the technical fix is to make sure on page 10, line 1, that we make sure our trigger's correct where the companies have to come to us for permission and make that technically correct.
And the motion is to grant Senators Jones and Herpin permission to offer a third reading amendment. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Ayes have it. Senators are granted permission to offer a third reading amendment. Senator Jones.
I offer the L016 third reading amendment. Again, it just makes sure that the trigger is clear and when a company would have to come see us.
The amendment is not at the desk.
All right. I didn't get that.
Oh.
All right.
We will ask Mr. Majors to read L016.
Amendment L016, Senate Bill 197 by Senator Jones.
Senator Jones.
Thank you, Madam President. I move L016.
Thank you. Please proceed.
Like I said, this is a technical fix to make sure the trigger is correct when a private company would have to come to the legislature for permission on several issues.
Any discussion on L016? Are there any no votes? With 35 ayes, 0 noes, 0 absent, and 0 excused, L016 is adopted. Question is the adoption of Senate Bill 197. Are there any no votes? Senator Balmer, Senator Lambert, Senators Harvey, Brophy, Baumgartner, Marble, Hill, Roberts, King, Lundberg. With 25 ayes, 10 noes, 0 absent, and 0 excused, Senate Bill 197 is adopted. Co-sponsors, Senators Kafalas, Newell, Mr. Majority Leader, Senators Aguilar, Nicholson, Schwartz, Todd, Madam President Pro Tem, Senator Kerr, Senator Ulibarri. Please add the President. Mr. Majors, would you please read the title to Senate Bill 195?
Senate Bill 195 by Senators Nicholson and Renfro and Representative Singer and Sonnenberg concerning a study of phreatified growth along the South Platte River in the aftermath of the September 2013 flood.
Senator Nicholson.
Thank you, Madam President. We move for the adoption of Senate Bill 195 on third reading and final passage and ask for an aye vote.
Any discussion? Question is the adoption of Senate Bill 195. Are there any no votes? Senator Crowder. With 34 ayes, 1 Senator Crowder, 0 absent, 0 excused, Senate Bill 195 is adopted. Co-sponsors. Mr. Majors, would you please read the title to House Bill 1350?
House Bill 1350 by Representative Ferrandino, Senator Kerr, concerning modifications of the criteria for regional tourism projects approved by the Colorado Economic Development Commission through the Colorado Regional Tourism Act and in connection therewith making an appropriation.
Senator Kerr.
Thank you, Madam President. I ask for an I move House Bill 1350 on third reading and final passage. Ask for an aye vote.
Any discussion? Question is the adoption of House Bill 1350. Are there any no votes? Senator Balmer, Senators Scheffel, Baumgartner, Lambert, Brophy, Herpin, Lundberg, Marble, Grantham, Mr. Minority Leader, Senators King, Roberts, Renfro, Hill. With 21 ayes, 14 noes, 0 absent, 0 excused, House Bill 1350 is adopted. Co-sponsors, Senator Stedman. Mr. Majors and Senator Rivera as a co-sponsor. Mr. Majority Leader, Senator Toktrop, Senator Newell. Mr. Majors, would you please read the title to House Bill 1300?
House Bill 1300 by Representatives Garcia and Duran, Senator Stedman, considering a 2014-15 state fiscal year general fund transfer to the Colorado State Fair Authority cash fund to support the state fairs programs of the state's 4-H clubs and the Colorado Association of the National Future Farmers of America organization and in connection therewith reducing an appropriation.
Senator Stedman.
Thank you, Madam President. I move House Bill 1300 on third reading and final passage.
Any discussion? Question is the adoption of House Bill 1300. Are there any no votes? Senators Baumgartner, Lambert, Lundberg, Marble, Balmer, Scheffel, Hill.
Ready?
With 28 ayes, 7 noes, 0 absent, and 0 excused, Senate Bill or House Bill 1300 is adopted. Co-sponsors: Senator Crowder, Senator Roberts, Senators Toktrop, Nicholson, Newell, Madam President Pro Tem, Senator Schwartz, Aguilar, Grantham, Rivera, Mr. Majority Leader, Senator Todd, Senator Kafalas, Mr. Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam President. I move we lay over the balance of the third reading calendar, actually of the calendar, until, yes, Senator Renfro, later in the day.
You've heard the motion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no? No. Ayes have it. We will lay over the balance of the calendar until later in the day. Announcements. Senator Herpin.
Thank you, Madam President. In 1876, there were many celebrations to commemorate the centennial of the signing of the Declaration of Independence on July 4, 1776. As part of this patriotic fervor, a group of men in San Francisco, California area who were descendants of patriots involved in the American Revolution formed an organization called the Sons of Revolutionary Sires. Their objective was to have a fraternal and civic society to salute those men and women who pledged their lives, fortune, and sacred honor to the battle for independence from Great Britain. They desired to keep alive their ancestors' story of patriotism and courage in the belief that it is a universal one of man's struggle against tyranny, a story which would inspire and sustain succeeding generations when they would have to defend and extend our freedoms. Out of the Sires grew the National Society of the Sons of American Revolution, which was organized on April 30th, 1889, the 100th anniversary of the inauguration of George Washington as our nation's first president. They have used the acronym SAR or SAR to identify themselves for over 100 years. The SAR was conceived as a fraternal and civic society composed of lineal descendants of the men who wintered at Valley Forge, signed the Declaration of Independence, fought in the battles of the American Revolution, served in the Continental Congress, or otherwise supported the cause of American independence. The National Society was chartered by an act of the United States Congress on June 9, 1906. The charter was signed by President Theodore Roosevelt, who was a member of the SAR. The charter authorizes the granting of chapters to societies of the various states and territories and authorizes the state societies to charter chapters within their border. Today is the 125th anniversary of the founding of the Sons of the American Revolution, and we're honored to have some members of the Colorado Society of Sons of American Revolution with us this morning, including Wayne Snodgrass, the Colorado President, Dick Marsh, the Colorado Vice President, and Gene Chaney, the Colorado Chancellor. To commemorate the 125th anniversary, I'd like to read the following tribute. The Senate of the Colorado Legislature convened in the second regular session of the 69th General Assembly hereby extends heartiest congratulations and commendation to the Sons of the American Revolution on the occasion of the 125th anniversary of their formation. We honor the Sons of the American Revolution, their efforts to maintain and extend the institutions of American freedom and appreciation for true patriotism, a respect for our national symbols, and the value of American citizenship. We commend their commitment to preserving the stories of patriotism, courage, sacrifice, and triumph that achieved American independence, in the belief that these stories are relevant to all times and inspire and strengthen each succeeding generation. On request of Senator Bernie Herpin, given this 30th day of April 2014, State Capitol, Denver, Colorado, signed Morgan Carroll, President of the Senate. Please join me in welcoming these members to the chamber and thank them for continuing to remind us of those citizens, soldiers, and patriots who helped establish our great nation. Please rise.
Would the members of the Senate choir please come to the well? We'll have some other announcements too. But all the senators who have a birthday coming up in May, June, July, or August, and specifically Senator Baumgartner, whose birthday is today, would you please come to the center aisle? So that includes Senators Schwartz, King, Grantham, John, Lundberg, Herpin. Senator Lundberg, you might have to sing to yourself. Senators Herpin, Newell, Shuffle, Roberts, and of course our birthday boy of the day, Senator Baumgartner. Please come to the center aisle if you're in our choir at the well. Would the choir please wish all of these senators happy birthday?
All of you, huh?
Senators, all of you.
Happy birthday to you, happy birthday to you, and us. Happy birthday to all of you. Happy birthday to you. Good enough.
So we have a couple, we'll go back to announcements. Senator Newell. Thank you, Madam President. Members, this is the last day of Child Abuse Prevention Month, and I just wanted to say thank you for those of you who have participated in some of the events this month to remember the children who have or are currently in situations that are dangerous or injurious. We honor them today, and just wanted to remind folks that this doesn't go away, even though this is the last day of Child Abuse Prevention Month, that it doesn't go away after today, that we will need to continue the fight against child abuse and neglect. In 2012, more than 686,000 children suffered confirmed cases of abuse and neglect in the United States, and 10,482 of those were here in Colorado. 10,482 kids of confirmed cases in Colorado in just the year 2012. And in that same year, 40 children died in Colorado from abuse or neglect. So I hope you join me in keeping the fight against child abuse and neglect. Thank you.
Members, announcement on the cupcakes that are over here on the press table, and Senator Baumgartner, the ones with mustache on them are for you, especially in honor for your birthday today. So members, please help yourself to the cupcakes. Before we proceed on our motions, we've got a couple things to read. I think the Majority Leader will move us in recess in a minute, but we've got a message from the House.
April 30th, 2014, Madam President, the House has adopted a return to with Senate Joint Resolution 37. The House has passed on third reading, transmitted the advisory statutes, House Bills 1394 and 1396. The House has passed on third reading, transmitted the advisory statutes, House Bill 1343 is amended, House Bill 1367 is amended, House Bill 1369 is amended. The House has passed on third reading, transmitted the advisory statutes, Senate Bill 144 is amended, Senate Bill 21 is amended.
Message from the reviser.
April 30th, 2014, we herewith transmit without comment House Bills 1394 and 1396, without comment as amended, House Bill 1343, 1367, and 1369, without comment as amended, Senate Bills 21 and 144.
Are there any other announcements before we... Okay, Mr. Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam President. State Veterans Military Affairs will add 2 additional bills to their calendar, Senate Bill 219 and Senate Concurrent Resolution 5. Senator Taktroff wanted me to announce that BLT will meet, hasn't been scheduled, but will meet at 1:30 to hear for action only House Bills 1013 and Senate Bill 57. All other committees are meeting as scheduled. And colleagues, you can look just like I have at the calendar. You will see the extensive list of bills that all of our committees are having right now on adjournment, and then at 1:30. So this means we're going to be in for a long day. We still have to finish thirds and then get into seconds. So with that, we're going to recess until about 5 o'clock. Like yesterday, we're going to have to play it by ear. I would suggest that we kind of be on the alert around 4:30, and I will come in here and try to give you an update. But at this point, I'm going to move that the Senate recess until 5 p.m. today.
You've heard the motion. All in favor say aye. Opposed, no. Ayes have it. The Senate will stand in recess till 5 p.m. today.
Thank you.